Ethan always liked quiet nights. His room was his safe place, filled with books, small tools, and the glow of his old computer. The hum of the ceiling fan was the only sound. He was just about to drift into sleep when something strange happened. A sudden flash of light cut through the darkness. It wasn't like the glow of a lamp or the beam of a flashlight. It was brighter, sharper, and it filled the whole room for only a second. Ethan sat up, his heart racing, unsure if he was dreaming or awake. And then he saw her. A young woman stood, barefoot on his floor. She wasn't dressed the way anyone would expect. Her clothing was loose, simple, almost careless, as if she had put it on without thought. Her long hair flowed down, and her calm eyes moved across the room as if she had been here before. Without saying a word, she walked to his bed and sat down. Then, like she owned the place, she stretched out and claimed the exact spot where Ethan had been lying. Ethan froze. His mouth opened, but no words came. His brain tried to find some logic. Was this a prank, a thief, a hallucination? He rubbed his eyes, but she was still there. Finally, he found his voice. Who are you? And what are you doing in my room? The woman turned her head, her expression calm, almost amused. This is my resting spot, she said simply, as if the answer explained everything. Ethan blinked. You're what? She leaned back on the pillow, her gaze fixed on the ceiling. I traveled far. I am tired. This place will do. Ethan's thoughts scrambled. She didn't sound like a thief. She didn't look like someone lost on the street. Her words were strange, her accent unlike anything he had heard before. Look, this is my room, Ethan said, his voice shaking between fear and confusion. You can't just show up here and take my bed. The woman finally looked at him. Her eyes were sharp but calm, like someone who didn't understand why he was upset. Do humans always guard empty space so fiercely? That single word, humans, hit Ethan like a thunderbolt. His breath caught. Wait, did you just say humans? What are you then? She studied him for a moment, then gave a small smile. My name is Lyra. I am not from here. I didn't mean to come to your dwelling. My device broke, and this was the nearest safe location. Ethan stared at her. His mind shouted impossible. Yet the calm way she spoke, the strange words she used, the glow of light that had brought her, nothing fit with a normal explanation. You're saying you're an alien? Ethan whispered. Lyra tilted her head, as if the word amused her. Alien? Perhaps. I am not of Earth, if that is what you mean. Ethan's pulse hammered. He had read stories, watched movies, laughed at UFO reports, but never imagined something like this would happen to him. And yet, here she was, sitting, on his bed, acting like it was the most normal thing in the world. He stepped back, pressing against his desk. Why my room? Out of all the places on Earth, why here? Lyra closed her eyes for a moment as if resting. Random choice. I used the device before it burned out. This place was stable, quiet. Perhaps fate. Ethan ran his hands through his hair. His room smelled of old coffee, wires, and dust. Of all the places in the universe, she had landed here. Okay, he said finally, trying to steady his voice. You can't just stay here. People will freak out if they see you. The government, the police. Lyra sat up suddenly, her eyes sharp now. No one must see me. They will be searching. If they find me, Earth will suffer. Ethan's chest tightened. Searching? Who's searching? She hesitated, then looked down at her hands. Hunters. They want what I carry. If they trace me here, your world is in danger. Ethan swallowed, hard. His quiet night had turned into something out of a nightmare. Yet as he looked at her, barefoot, calm, almost fragile, he didn't see a threat. He saw someone desperate, someone running. For a long moment, silence filled the room. Only the fan kept spinning above. Ethan finally sighed. All right, you can stay. For now. But you need to explain everything. starting with why you appeared in my room and not somewhere else. Lyra studied him again, her gaze deep, as if measuring him. Then she gave a small nod. Very well, human. But first, let me rest. I have not slept in 3 cycles. And with that she lay down again, closing her eyes as if she had truly claimed his spot. Ethan stood there helpless, caught between panic and disbelief. He should have called for help, should have thrown her out, should have done anything but what he was doing. Watching an alien woman sleep in his bed. His mind raced. Who was she really? What danger had followed her? And why, of all the billions of places on Earth, had she ended up here? In his quiet little room. Ethan sat in his chair, staring at her. Sleep was impossible now. The night stretched long, filled with questions and the soft, steady breathing of the stranger who had turned his world upside down. The night felt endless for Ethan. He could not sleep. Not with Lyra lying just a few feet away, her breathing calm, but her presence impossible to ignore. He kept glancing at her, trying to make sense of what had happened. She had appeared out of nowhere, claimed his bed, and called it her resting spot. Yet now, she seemed fragile. Human fragile, in some ways. Hours passed before Lyra stirred. She opened her eyes slowly, as if waking from a long, uncomfortable dream. She stretched her arms and let out a soft sigh. Ethan watched, unsure what to say. "I have been hiding for many days," she said quietly. "Traveling across systems is not easy when enemies hunt you." Ethan blinked. "Enemies? Across systems? You mean like space?" Lyra nodded. "Yes. My world is far from here. The empire that rules my people is cruel. They destroy anyone who resists. I fled before they could catch me." Ethan swallowed hard. "So, you're saying you escaped from some alien empire, and now you're hiding on Earth?" "Yes," she said simply. Her calm voice carried a weight he could not ignore. Earth was a random choice. I hoped it would be safe. He tried to imagine it. A galaxy so vast, civilizations unknown to humans, wars fought light years away, and somehow Lyra ended up in his bedroom. The thought made his head spin. "So, what do you want from me?" he asked cautiously. "Why come here? Why my room?" Lyra sat up, hugging her knees. "I do not fully understand why I appeared here. My device malfunctioned. Perhaps fate guided me. Perhaps not. What matters now is hiding. If they find me, they will take what I carry, and your planet may pay the price." "What do you carry?" Ethan asked, curiosity mixed with fear. Lyra hesitated. Her eyes flicked toward the small window that looked out into the dark city. "Information, knowledge, secrets about the Empire. If I fall, all this is lost, and if they come to Earth, your people are unprepared." Ethan's mind raced. Secrets about an alien empire? His quiet life had just turned into something from a science fiction story, but it was real. "Why are you telling me this?" he asked. "Why risk explaining to me?" She looked at him, her gaze steady. "Because humans, I have observed you. Your people are different from most species I have seen. You do not surrender easily. You do not leave someone behind. You fight, even when survival seems impossible." Ethan felt a mixture of pride and disbelief. "You mean, I'm brave?" Lyra tilted her head as if amused. "Perhaps, or perhaps you are stubborn. Both can be useful traits. That is why I hope you will help me." Ethan ran a hand through his hair. His room felt smaller somehow, as if the walls were closing in with the weight of her words. "Help you? What can I do?" "You can hide me. You can learn to understand some of my technology. Perhaps if we work together we can survive." Ethan's heart skipped. Technology from another world? He had always tinkered with gadgets, computers, small robots, but alien tech? The thought was terrifying and exciting all at once. He hesitated. And what if they find us anyway? What if they come here? Lyra's eyes darkened slightly. Then we must be ready. But humans, I have seen glimpses of your potential. I have watched your broadcasts, your satellites, your weapons. You are clever. You improvise, you adapt. That is why I came to you. Ethan's fear mixed with fascination. He had always thought humans were ordinary, at least compared to the imagined creatures of space he had only read about. But Lyra made him see a different truth. Humans might be underestimated by the galaxy. He nodded slowly. Okay, I'll help you. But first you have to tell me everything. Who are these hunters? What do they want? Lyra looked out the window, watching the city lights. The Empire hunts anyone who resists. My people, we are not free. Many have died before me. I escaped with knowledge they want, because it is dangerous to them. They cannot allow this information to exist outside their control. Ethan tried to imagine the scale of such a threat. Humans had never faced anything like it, but looking at her, he could feel the urgency, the quiet determination. She trusted him, and that trust felt heavier than any burden he had carried before. All right, he said, determination building. We start now. First, we hide you. Then, we figure out what to do next. Lyra's face softened. Thank you. You do not know how rare this compassion is in the galaxy. Ethan smiled, even though fear lingered in his chest. Maybe humans are not as weak as you think. She tilted her head curiously. Perhaps. I thought your species was primitive, fragile. But there is something in you. Resilience. You fight. Even when the odds are against you. That is rare. Ethan chuckled nervously. I guess you could say that. But honestly, I'm still trying to figure out how to deal with the fact that an alien woman just appeared in my room and claimed my bed. Lyra's lips of the faintest smile. And yet, you have not there. The following days were tense for Ethan. Every noise outside his room made him jump. Every shadow in the corner of his eye seemed to move. Lyra remained calm, but even she occasionally glanced at the window with a sharp, watchful eye. Ethan had done everything he could to hide her presence. He cleared his room of any visible items that could hint at alien technology. He covered Lyra's broken device with old blankets. He even avoided going outside too much. Still, a nagging worry clung. To him, the Empire could arrive at any moment. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Lyra's calm was broken. Her eyes, usually soft and composed, snapped toward the window. They are near, she whispered. Ethan froze. Who? The hunters? Yes. Their signals are close. Too close. She rose gracefully and moved to the corner of the room, where her device hummed faintly under the blankets. I can detect them through certain waves. They are searching for me. They will come for me. Soon. Ethan's stomach sank. How soon? Are we talking hours? Minutes? Lyra's lips pressed into a thin line. Minutes. The hum of the city outside suddenly felt louder. The soft wind brushing through the open window seemed to carry an unfamiliar energy, almost like electricity in the air. Ethan realized he had no idea how to prepare. Nothing in his normal life had ever warned him for something like this. They are fast, Lyra said, almost to herself, and relentless. If they find me, they will not leave Earth untouched. Ethan's mind raced. He could call the police, or the military, but he knew better. Lyra's words had painted a picture of unstoppable alien hunters, and if anyone else got involved, the result could be catastrophic. We have to hide, Ethan said, moving toward the window. You can't stay here if they're that close. Lyra shook her head. No. They expect me to run. They underestimate humans. I want to see what you can do. Ethan's eyes widened. What I can do? I'm just a normal guy. I'm not trained. You will learn, Lyra interrupted. Humans are resourceful. You have survived harder challenges than I first imagined. You will improvise. Ethan looked at her skeptically. Improvise against what? Alien hunters with advanced ships? I can't even fight them. Lyra's eyes softened, almost approvingly. That is why I am here, to teach you a small part of what I know. Together, we may survive. Before Ethan could ask how, the first signs appeared. The faint hum of a ship outside, invisible to the naked eye at first. The air vibrated slightly. Even the light from the city flickered as if reacting to something beyond comprehension. They are scanning, Lyra said, pointing at the broken device hidden under the blanket. She removed it carefully. It flickered to life, glowing faintly, displaying strange patterns and waves Ethan had never seen. Ethan leaned closer, curious despite his fear. What is that? Lyra's fingers moved with precision. A tracking and signal device. It can detect their ships before they arrive fully, and it can hide some energy signatures, but only temporarily. It buys us minutes. Minutes that could save your world. Minutes. The word echoed in Ethan's mind. It was not enough. But it was something. Suddenly, the sky outside his window lit up with a strange shimmer. The first ship of the hunters appeared in the clouds above. Ethan froze, staring as a massive shadow moved silently across the city. It was sleek, dark, and larger than anything he had imagined. Its lights pulsed in rhythm, scanning the streets below. They see Earth, Lyra whispered, her voice calm but tense. But they do not yet know I am here. Ethan felt a surge of fear. His small, quiet city could be destroyed if they found her. What do we do? He asked, gripping the edge of his desk. Lyra glanced at him. We survive, we hide, and we prepare. Ethan watched as she moved to the center of the room, standing tall and alert. He realized something. Despite her appearance, barefoot, casually dressed, Lyra radiated strength. There was no fear in her eyes, only focus. Ethan, she said, pointing at him, you must trust yourself. You must trust humans. We are underestimated everywhere. But now, it is time to show them why. Her words struck him. He felt a flicker of courage. Perhaps humans really were underestimated. Perhaps his species had a hidden strength. The hum outside grew louder. Another ship appeared, closer this time, scanning for unusual energy signatures. Ethan held his breath. Lyra adjusted her device, sending signals into the air. The light around them dimmed slightly, and the hunter's sensors seemed confused. Ethan realized she was creating a kind of invisible shield, just enough to hide their presence for now. They will not stay fooled for long, Lyra said quietly. We must move soon or they will find us. But the longer we delay, the more humans will surprise them. Ethan nodded, understanding at last. It was not just hiding. It was proving that humans could adapt, improvise, and fight back. The galaxy might see humans as weak, but he would show them something different. The night stretched on, filled with tension, the low hum of the device, and the distant sound of engines. Ethan stayed close to Lyra, learning quickly from her subtle movements and calm focus. He realized that the quiet, ordinary life he had once known was gone forever. But even in fear, he felt a spark of pride. For the first time, he understood why Lyra had chosen humans. They were clever, brave, and stubborn. And tonight, those qualities might be the difference between survival and destruction. Minutes passed like hours. The ships remained above, scanning, searching. But Ethan and Lyra remained hidden, their small room a sanctuary amid the danger outside. And for the first time, Ethan felt it clearly. Humanity was not weak. They were underestimated. And perhaps, just perhaps, they were ready to surprise the galaxy. The next morning, Ethan woke with a mixture of exhaustion and tension. He had barely slept, his mind replaying the events of the night. Lyra was still asleep in his bed, calm despite the danger outside. Her presence, once shocking, now felt almost natural. Almost. Ethan quietly moved around the room, trying to think. The hunters had been close last night, and if they returned, Earth might face consequences it could not even imagine. His phone and computer buzzed with strange reports. Lights in the sky, satellites detecting unusual signals, but no official warnings yet. The government was aware of something, but they did not fully understand it. Lyra stirred at the sound of his movements. "They are closer today," she said softly. "They will send others. We cannot stay here forever." Ethan sat down, rubbing his eyes. "So, what do we do? We can't fight ships with whatever we have in this room." Lyra studied him carefully. "You are right. Alone, you cannot. But humans are clever. Your species can think, adapt, and use small tools in ways larger powers cannot predict. That is why I trust you." Ethan blinked. "Trust me? You barely know me." Lyra tilted her head. "I know more than you think. I have observed humans for a long time. You are persistent, stubborn, and surprisingly brave. That is why I chose this place. You and your species are underestimated by the galaxy, and underestimation can be powerful." Ethan felt a strange sense of pride mixed with fear. The words were inspiring, yet the danger remained. The first alert came mid-morning. A low hum vibrated through the city. Ethan looked out the window and saw strange lights moving silently across the sky. They were smaller ships, scouts sent by the hunters. "They are searching systematically," Lyra said. "They do not know exactly where I am, but they will find Earth soon. We must be ready." Ethan's heart pounded. "Ready? How? We don't have weapons, ships, or armies. Just us." Lyra smiled faintly. "You have what the Empire does not expect. Your people's creativity, improvisation. Earth itself can become a weapon if used correctly." Over the next hours, Ethan followed her instructions. They moved the broken device to a more hidden location, shielded from detection. Lyra taught him to calibrate it, showing him how it could confuse sensors and hide energy signatures. Ethan watched carefully, learning faster than he thought possible. "This is incredible," he whispered. "You're showing me alien technology, and it actually works." Lyra's eyes glimmered. "Yes, but it is only part of what we can do. Humans must act, not just hide. That is why I observe you. I need to know what your species can create under pressure." By afternoon, they heard distant alarms. News reports buzzed with strange phenomena, sudden blackouts, unexplained shadows over cities, and signals that disrupted communications. Governments scrambled jets and satellites trying to detect the source, but the hunters' technology was far more advanced. Lyra moved closer to Ethan, her voice calm but firm. "Your people must act now. Not with fear, but with intelligence. Earth is capable of more than the Empire believes." Ethan nodded, his mind racing. He knew the world above him. Military satellites, defense networks, communication grids, was now part of a larger battle. And though humans had no experience with interstellar empires, they had something rare: unpredictability. As evening approached, the first human response became clear. Fighter jets streaked into the sky, guided by radar and satellite systems, chasing after strange energy readings. They did not understand what they faced, but their determination was obvious. They would defend their planet even if the threat seemed impossible. Lyra watched silently. "Humans are persistent. I underestimated you. Your determination is remarkable." Ethan felt a thrill of pride. For the first time, he saw what she meant. Humans might not have advanced alien technology, but they had heart, creativity, and courage. That combination was unpredictable. Lyra. The night sky above the city was alive with streaks of light. Ethan and Lyra watched from the rooftop, their hearts pounding as ships larger than skyscrapers moved silently among the stars. The alien empire had arrived. The hunters had brought reinforcements, and Earth's quiet skies were now a battlefield. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "They do not expect humans to resist so quickly," she whispered. "They think Earth will fall easily. That is their mistake." Ethan clenched his fists. Fear still lingered, but it was mixed with determination. He had seen how humans worked, together how they adapted. And now, under Lyra's guidance, he was ready to take action. The first wave of alien scouts moved through the clouds, scanning for energy signatures. Using the device Lyra had repaired, Ethan and Lyra sent out false signals confusing the scouts. The ships paused, recalculating as their scanners picked up dozens of decoy signatures. "They will not stay fooled forever," Lyra said, her voice calm but urgent. "But this will buy us time." Below, military jets streaked into the sky, guided by radar and satellites. Pilots shouted through comms, unaware of the full scale of the threat, but determined to protect their home. Ethan watched in awe. Humans were ordinary in so many ways, but when challenged, they became something extraordinary. Suddenly, a large alien ship broke through the clouds, its hull dark and menacing. Lights along its side pulsed as if scanning for life below. Ethan's stomach dropped. The Empire's forces were massive, but the humans did not hesitate. Fighter jets swarmed toward the ship, firing flares and missiles. Lyra touched Ethan's shoulder. "Watch carefully. Humans are unpredictable, but they fight with creativity. That is their greatest weapon." Ethan nodded. He noticed how the pilots adapted mid-flight, changing formation using the terrain below, even baiting the alien ship with false targets. Lyra's device amplified their signals, creating confusion among the aliens. For a moment, it worked perfectly. The Empire's massive ship slowed, unsure which signals were real. "They underestimate humans," Lyra said softly. "They think size and firepower win wars. But humans, they think differently. They improvise." Ethan felt a spark of pride. This was the first time he truly understood the strength of humanity. Not in weapons, not in numbers, but in the mind. The ability to adapt, to surprise, to turn the odds. Suddenly, Lyra moved toward her device. "We can do more," she said. "If we combine your ingenuity with my knowledge, we can disrupt their systems. But we must act now." Ethan followed her instructions, connecting wires, adjusting circuits, and sending pulses into the air. Lights on the alien ship flickered, sensors went offline, and the massive craft wavered as its systems were disrupted. The pilots below took advantage, striking with precision where the aliens were vulnerable. "It's working," Ethan shouted. Lyra nodded, her face focused. "Yes, small minds can do much when clever. And humans are underestimated everywhere. That is their strength." The battle raged across the sky. Jets and alien scouts moved in unpredictable patterns. The device created illusions, false energy signatures that tricked even the advanced sensors of the Empire. Ethan worked tirelessly, learning quickly under Lyra's calm guidance. Minutes passed, and slowly, the tide began to turn. The alien scouts faltered, the larger ships confused by the combination of human ingenuity and Lyra's technology. The humans below did not panic. They adapted, firing where necessary, using the environment to their advantage. Lyra's eyes glimmered as she watched. "Your species, I underestimated you. You are clever, brave, and persistent. That is why humans survive." Ethan wiped sweat from his brow. "I guess humans aren't as weak as they look." "No," Lyra said softly. "And now the Empire will learn. Earth is not easy prey." The first wave of alien forces retreating into the clouds as humans continued their coordinated attacks. Though the battle was far from over, the humans had proven they could stand against an advanced alien empire using courage, creativity, and sheer determination. Ethan felt a surge of pride. He had seen ordinary humans, pilots, engineers, soldiers, do extraordinary things. They adapted to the unknown, fought with cleverness, and refused to surrender. In that moment, he understood the truth Lyra had spoken. Humans were underestimated, but underestimated humans could change the galaxy's perception entirely. Lyra leaned back, her expression calm. "We have shown them what humans are capable of, but the Empire will return. This is only the beginning." Ethan nodded, still catching his breath. "Then we prepare, we learn, and we fight. Together, Lyra smiled faintly. Yes, together. Humans and me. Unlikely allies, but effective. The night sky slowly returned to a tense calm. The first wave had been repelled, but the threat of the Empire remained. Ethan looked out over the city, knowing that ordinary people had just faced something extraordinary, and they had survived. For the first time, he truly believed that humans, resourceful, stubborn, and unpredictable, could stand against even the most advanced threats in the galaxy. And Lyra, barefoot and calm beside him, had chosen to stay. She had seen their potential, she had seen their courage, and she would fight alongside them, teaching, guiding, and trusting that humans could do what few others in the galaxy could. Ethan felt a quiet determination settle in his chest. The battle had begun, yes, but humanity had shown it would not bow. The galaxy would remember this night. Earth had arrived, and humans had proven they were not to be underestimated. Lyra reached out, touching Ethan's shoulder gently. Your species has hidden strength. Never forget that. The Empire will learn. Ethan nodded, looking up at the stars above. They had faced the first wave and survived, and now he knew humanity was ready for whatever came next. The sky above Earth slowly cleared. The stars shone brightly, but the memory of the alien invasion lingered in the air. Ethan stood on the rooftop looking out at the city. Fires from the previous battle were dying down, and the streets were quiet again. For the first time in days, he felt the weight of what had happened. Lyra was beside him, barefoot as always, her calm presence a sharp contrast to the chaos of the past night. She looked at the city with a soft expression, as if seeing it for the first time. Your people surprised me, she said quietly. Ethan smiled wearily. We're not as helpless as we look. No, Lyra agreed. You are clever, resourceful, and brave. Humans have something few other species do. You adapt, you survive, and tonight, you have shown strength the galaxy will not forget. Ethan felt a mix of pride and exhaustion. He had helped hide her, learn her technology, and assist in repelling an alien force. But it was not just his effort. It was every human, every pilot, every soldier who had fought in the skies. Together they had defended their world. Lyra glanced at him. I cannot remain hidden forever. The Empire will return, and your people will need to be ready. But I choose to stay here, with humans. Ethan blinked in surprise. You mean you're not going back? Lyra shook her head. Not yet. You have something rare. Your people have something rare. I have seen it in action. I will stand with you, guide you, and learn from you. Together we can prepare for the next challenge. Ethan felt his heart pound. He had never imagined that a stranger, an alien stranger, would not only trust him but also choose to stand with humanity. I don't know what to say. You do not need to say anything, Lyra said softly. Actions speak louder than words. You have shown courage, and that is enough. For the next days, Ethan and Lyra worked together. She taught him more about her technology, about the Empire, and how humans could strengthen their defenses. Shared what he knew about Earth, its systems, and its people. Slowly, they began to form a plan, a way to prepare for the inevitable return of the hunters. The world above continued its recovery. Governments worked tirelessly to repair satellites, restore communications, and understand the strange signals from the battle. Yet even as they repaired, humans had learned something invaluable. Their resourcefulness, bravery, and unity were more powerful than any weapon alone. Ethan watched the sunset from the rooftop one evening. Lyra stood beside him, her eyes reflecting the orange glow. Do you think the Empire will come back soon? He asked. Lyra's gaze was steady. Yes, but humans will be ready, and I will be here to help. Your species has hidden strength. The galaxy underestimates you, and that is your advantage. Ethan nodded. He thought of the pilots, the soldiers, and the people below who had faced the impossible and survived. They had stood against an advanced alien empire, and they had won the first battle, That was a lesson no one would forget. Lyra's expression softened. And now, we can plan for the future. Humans and I, together. Perhaps one day the galaxy will see Earth not as a quiet, insignificant planet, but as a force to be reckoned with. Ethan smiled. Maybe, and maybe humans are ready for that. We've always survived, haven't we? Yes, Lyra said quietly, a hint of pride in her voice. And now you will survive with me at your side. The days passed. Ethan and Lyra became a team, blending human creativity with alien knowledge. They trained, prepared, and learned from each other. The bond between them grew stronger, not just as allies, but as friends. Ethan realized that humans had found something rare in Lyra, a guide, a teacher, and a reminder that the universe was bigger and stranger than anyone had imagined. One evening, as they stood on the rooftop watching the stars, Lyra smiled faintly. You have a whirl.